Shots fired in the school.
We had the shooter in a classroom.
A deadly school shooting in Highlands Ranch sent shockwaves through our state.
It's hard to speak. I just need my kid up.
Days later, leaders pledged millions of dollars to boost school safety.
It's amazing how quick, after an act of domestic terror, we can find funds and money.
Tonight, an exclusive Denver7 investigation has discovered a vast majority of that money has not been spent.
I don't understand what the delay is.
Why is the Douglas County School District sitting on the cash? And is it putting students at risk?
Some projects cannot move forward until other projects are completed.
There is frustration, but it's the type of frustration that we've dealt with for years.
Tonight, Denver7 investigator Jennifer Kovalevsky is going directly to those in charge to get answers.
Every single day,
Hello.
John and Maria Castillo come to this spot. This section of grass.
How you doing, Bubba?
It's their way of connecting with their son, Kendrick. How are you doing?
Oh boy, every day's a struggle for my wife and I.
Nearly 2 years have passed since 18-year-old Kendrick Castillo died a hero.
Shots fired in the school.
Oh my God.
So we have a shooter in room 107.
A classmate shot and killed their son inside the STEM school. The date, May 7th, 2019, forever embossed in their memories.
We were pleased to see that those funds were made available. However, it was also heart-wrenching that it's like a day too late, if you will. I mean, it wasn't enough to be there to save our son.
He's talking about the $10 million the Douglas County Commissioners redirected to improve school security and mental health.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
That unanimous vote came just days after their son's life was taken.
It's amazing how quick, after an act of domestic terror, we can find funds and money and start working on solutions.
Fast forward to now, 676 days later, and Denver7 Investigates uncovered the school district has only spent a fraction of that money. Millions of dollars meant to keep kids safe and address mental health.
You know, I'm kind of blown away by that and taken back, because in all honesty and actuality with COVID, I mean, there's never been a more ideal time to put a plan in action.
Take a look at the numbers. Commissioners gave Douglas County schools nearly $7 million. The rest mainly went to private and charter schools. But records show nearly 2 years since the shooting, the district has only spent a little over $1 million. That's just 16%, leaving $5.6 million unspent, sitting in the bank.
I gotta hear why. It seems inexplicable to me.
He's the prosecutor trying one of the accused shooters.
I don't understand what the delay is.
But perhaps more importantly, former district attorney George Brockler is a father with 4 kids in Douglas County schools.
I think the community, me too, deserve to hear what the details are of that failure.
So I can address the issue on physical security.
He's responsible for overseeing the money.
Why has only $1 million of that money been spent more than a year later?
Because there's multiple projects, and so some projects cannot move forward until other projects are completed. And with COVID, everything was pushed back.
Rich Payne's the director of security and safety for the school district. He says when COVID shut the world down, it also brought their efforts to a halt.
It took a different turn for all of us. I would love to have all this done.
Payne says they've already decided where the remaining $5 million will go. They're just waiting for the projects to be completed before they pay out the funds.
What would you say to those who question why more of this money hasn't been spent?
If they could sit in my shoes to be a good steward, I'm not just going to randomly go out and spend money and say this is the first product that I'm going to look at. I have procedures I have to follow.
And if it hadn't been for COVID, we would have an entirely different set of circumstances.
Laura Thomas is one of the commissioners who voted to give the district the money.
And I'm sure that it will be spent as soon as possible. But that doesn't mean that the commissioners aren't watching and concerned and want this done as quickly as possible.
Every time I drive by the school, I think of that day.
Captain Troy McCarty was one of the first deputies to respond to the STEM school shooting.
What did you see when you walked into the school?
A bunch of heroes, kids, scared to death, and carnage.
It's a day he'll never stop thinking about. But he's now a part of the team making sure kids are safer.
strengthen the physical security of the schools.
Would the sheriff's office have liked to have seen that process move a little bit quicker than it has?
You know, as a group, yes, but we understand, you know, the dilemma that the school district has to work with.
What would you want to say to the school district?
I'd want to say, step up your game and get to work.
Castillo just wants to make sure no other family has to go through their pain.
We can't wait until there's another event or whatever. And this money just sitting there, that's exactly what it's doing.
The school district says it hopes to have all the money spent by this summer. It wouldn't go into specifics about many of the projects, citing security. But it did say a lot of the money is being spent on improving communication, a radio system that will connect all 4 law enforcement agencies, the schools, and first responders. That's something that didn't exist before the shooting. We will stay on top of this. I'm Denver7 investigator Jennifer Kovaleski.
We want to take a moment and highlight a really encouraging number. Nearly 80% of Coloradans 70 and older tonight are vaccinated.
And it matters because that age group accounts for 3 in 4 deaths and more than a third of hospitalizations because of the virus.
And those 70 and up, still the priority for the vaccines, but with supplies increasing, the state opened up shots to a whole new group today.
Yeah, we're talking about people 50 and older, people age 16 and older with a high-risk condition, and all kinds of frontline workers.
And with real progress in the fight to contain the virus, Colorado wants to ease pandemic rules in just a few days. A major change, bars could reopen at 25% capacity in areas with level blue restrictions. Right now, that's the majority of counties in the state. And most bars have been shut since last summer. And shops in level blue counties would get a boost in capacity from 50 to 75%. And the state plans to remove capacity caps on outdoor events in counties at level blue or green. And you can send comments to the state health department about this until noon on Monday. The final guidelines will come out Tuesday and then go into effect Wednesday.
And while we celebrate the vaccination progress here in our state, our communities of color are still being left behind. So you will see neighborhood and church-based clinics all over the state this weekend and beyond, with a focus on underserved communities who encounter obstacles to getting vaccinated.
A language barrier and internet access. So our essential workers aren't able to sit on the computer all day and refresh their browser.
I talked to Denver City Council member Amanda Sandoval, who's helping organize a clinic at Regis University. She says she's had to explain the vaccine to some.
We're really losing a generation of people, and how important it is for us to have our elders here and have them vaccinated and have us be able to gather safely.
According to Denver Health Stats, Latinos make up 30% of Denver's population and account for nearly half of the COVID cases, and yet only 13.2% of Latinos have had at least one shot. Now, these clinics are a start, and although all 1,300 slots at Regis this weekend are already booked, there will be more clinics to come.
All right, and if you just became eligible for the vaccine, there's a good chance that some of you spent some time trying to book an appointment today. You may have even used the Vaccine Spotter website to check availability, and you might have noticed something there. There are more open appointments in rural areas than metro areas. We checked with the website creator to get his take on this.
There are more appointments that seem to generally come available in urban areas, but those appointments just go much more quickly. So I think that's just due to a combination of things, but I mean, obviously there's more people competing for those spots.
And if you're itching to get that shot, the best advice seems to be check early and check often for those appointments. And if you have questions, we have answers for you on the denverchannel.com/vaccine. You'll also find a link to that Vaccine Spotter website. Well, finding good child care can be such a struggle for parents.
Trying to find someone who's vaccinated, that's a whole new challenge for one Highlands Ranch family. Denver7 CB Cotton has their story.
A place known for child's play can become a parent's worry during a pandemic.
You're just always on edge and you're nervous.
Jessica Solis is especially nervous because her daughter has 2 pre-existing conditions.
Just having that experience of, your child potentially dying or having this major experience, I think it today with COVID makes me even more aware of how fragile her life is.
Lola's life. At just 7 years old, she's already beat the odds.
She has Down syndrome and a disease called moya-moya disease.
Moya-moya is a rare condition that narrows blood vessels in the brain, reducing blood supply. These are scans of Lola's brain, and here was the blood clot.
So she had a stroke when she was 3.
And ever since, Jessica and her husband have been trying to protect Lola and their other children. COVID-19 hasn't helped.
I mean, people think we're extreme. I sort of feel like we have to be. My daughter has an extreme case. But, you know, we do either grocery delivery or grocery pickup.
And as far as a babysitter or childcare, Jessica is trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for, you know, anybody that's been vaccinated and willing to disclose that to, you know, be able to babysit our children.
This family's story presents a unique circumstance. There's no database of vaccinated nannies or sitters that we can find. And as far as daycare goes, the Colorado Department of Human Services says a daycare provider's vaccination status is protected, so it's information they can't collect or provide. But the state also told us childcare providers may disclose vaccination status themselves to families searching for care from vaccinated providers.
The isolation as well as difficult. So it's been a long 12 months. And so to be able to find someone that's vaccinated is a huge relief, I think, off of us as well.
Lola's life shows us survival and a need for solutions.
I mean, do anything that we have to protect her.
CB Cotton, Denver7.
It's a lot of money and it can help a lot of people.
Putting a big focus on small business.
This will help the whole community thrive.
The state's plan to give downtown areas a multi-million-dollar shot in the arm to help stores rebound.
When things really get moving again, everyone can say, hey, Colorado, that's a place to be.
Beautiful warm weather expected for tomorrow, but it's not going to last. How much snow we can expect?